you can move it
here the whole time.
Wait, keep going. Keep talking.
This test. La 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 la.
That's good. That's really perfect. But you don't have to be like that close to it. So,
plus, should I keep it like here-ish?
Yeah, because then you're facing me, and so it's going at. But if you ever like hit it or something, and I'll cut away when you're drinking, and so that's what's beautiful about 3 cameras is that like you could be picking your nose, and the other person's talking. No one will ever know.
I love it. I'll just pick my nose the whole time. You'll never show me, or you will. Or you will, and then I'll get scared.
She really said something to me, and is this mine or yours? I think that one has bubbles.
Yeah, that one's yours. I already tasted it. I dropped 1 ice cube, and it's still hanging in.
So, before we really get started, I'm going to, after you leave today, I'll record your intro with your bio you sent me.
Cool.
Love it.
Yeah, I'm like, I wanted it kind of funny.
Yeah, no, honestly.
Okay.
Keep being you. Don't change wherever you go, okay? But I was thinking we could go through Boda Bridal and Boutique because I really want to help,
oh, you're amazing.
Advertise your business.
Awesome.
I've been doing it word of mouth for years, but this is different.
I love it. And I would like to almost talk about starting that and tell people if you're interested in starting a business, it is freaking hard. And there's a lot of people along the way who told me to go for it. So I would love to dive into that.
Cool. Good. Because that's how I'd love to talk a little bit about how we met and how people at work, we were talking about when you first walked in, it's huge. It plays a huge part in the rest of your life.
Agreed.
And then not settling, so kind of ties into that. And then we'll go into the dating stories. And then I love that we can end these shitty dating stories with your amazing engagement.
Yeah! Oh my gosh, it was.
You guys are the best.
I love him.
As soon as I started seeing how weird he was on your stuff, I was like,
he's the one. I mean, a guy that dresses up more than me, he wants to wear Santa Claus to the airport on Christmas Day. He wants to. Yeah. Okay. Oh my gosh.
Beautiful. Okay.
I love him.
And then traveling with him, saving animals. We'll get into the animal stuff.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And then possibly short girl style.
Okay. Yeah. We'll see. Because I'm inspired by you starting this, and so I think maybe we will dive into it because I'm I want to talk about it because I know you'll motivate me to just start something new.
And I'd love to help you start it if you have any questions or anything.
Okay.
I don't really know what I could do to contribute.
We could do a ton. And honestly, what it is, I'm my idea, just so you know, and I'll explain it again, but anyone 5'8" or shorter is considered short in the fashion industry because you're not a 6-foot model where everything's designed
proportions
for you.
are super different.
Yeah. And so I'm I just feel there's representation for everything coming up, but I'm not seeing a lot of shorter girls, and so I'm you know what, that has always been a horrible thing.
You have
for
to
me.
go get petites.
Yes, or growing up I felt I needed to wear high heels all the time. I mean, I'm wearing heels now, but that's literally a style choice.
But I love this because this ties into everything I'm doing.
Okay.
Because everyone has their own little
their insecurity
niche
and their
of diversity.
Yep.
Right? And so you're advocating for people who are shorter than what models or clothes are being made for. Okay, I love this.
Okay, so we're diving.
So yeah,
I'm maybe
that's what I'm gonna.
And I said maybe because I was still insecure about it, and then I watched your freaking first 2. I swear I knew. I'm we're doing it. I'm gonna talk to her about it because I'm no one cares about someone who's short. So let's.
But here's the thing: you don't. That's.
That
is the thing. You don't have to be disabled or have some crazy illness or something to be considered someone who needs a little bit more attention than or not more attention,
but
more
wants
attention
to
than
represent others or feel you're included too. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So
I do.
There's a lot to say, but I was yeah, we should, because I watched your things and I'm oh, she's the perfect person to motivate me and just put myself out there because you're doing it. So
I'm so glad.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I swear you're inspiring people already. So,
well, I couldn't have done it without people to look up to you. You just left corporate America and you're I guess I'm starting a whole bridal business.
Yes.
Not that you hadn't already started it, but you just were taking the plunge and going in.
There's a difference in a hobby and this is my life. And is this what you're doing full time now?
I'm trying to do it part-time.
Okay.
It's taking so much time.
Yeah, I was going to say this will be full-time real quick if it's not already. But.
Yeah. I'm trying to do my consultancy full-time,
Yes.
get
and I
into
want to talk about that, but I want to save that because, I didn't even know that was a thing. So, yes.
Yes. Well, I guess my long-term goal is to be a keynote speaker.
Amazing.
That's where the money is.
That was your goal back in the day.
I know. And I'm kind of just like, I'm not speaking English. I'm kind of just realizing the things I've been talking about. We talked about a podcast too and doing these stupid dating stories.
Yeah, really though. I'm like, you said it all and you're doing it all. And even though it was like one shit storm after another with work, that's what it takes. And that sucks, but that's just what it freaking takes. Things have to not work out, or the thing you're meant to do will never work out.
Which brings us into the perfect segue as to how you got started in your business. So,
here we go. Are we on? Are we rolling?
We're on. We're rolling. Let's double check everything. For being on my podcast. Who the Chel cares?
The Chel. Well, we care.
Destrie cares.
Destrie cares.
Cool.
I hate third person.
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing it recently. I'm actually going to tell you why I've been doing it recently.
Oh, yes.
If I can get my words out correctly, this whole podcast. I started doing it because I wasn't talking to myself nicely in my head or out loud.
Yes.
And my body dysmorphia. I felt super disconnected from my body.
Wow.
However, I do think there's a time and a place to do it.
I remember, were you saying something about like literally looking in the mirror and talking to yourself? Didn't you say that?
So it's something I learned in the mental hospital. Was like
I think that's cool.
Saying hello to yourself in the morning, looking at yourself in your eyeballs, and
as a person.
Because you would do the same thing to anyone else when you see them in the morning.
I heard you say that, and I've started to try and do it, and I felt so weird. And I know you mentioned that.
It's weird,
but I need to do it because I'm the same as you. It's like severe. I don't know, just about your body and how it represents you as a person.
Mm-hmm.
And it just sucks when you compare your self-esteem to your body image, and it's hard as a girl.
Yeah.
It's really hard.
She is here.
Mm-hmm.
That's like how I have to talk to her. She's here. She's helping me get through day to day. Like, I couldn't be able to do these things I want to do if she's not healthy and fed and nourished and,
I love that.
So it kind of just translates into she sometimes. Yes. And that's how I identify. And so it's just perfect.
I love that. And I'm going to keep trying to do it more. I've done it twice and felt so awkward, but I remember feeling like, wow, that is another person. Like, you never see yourself. You're like, I am who I am. You're trapped in your head. You say horrible shit to yourself.
Or when you walk past the mirror, you're looking at your clothes or your hair. You're not looking at you.
Right. Looking into your eyes and not like, what color are my eyes? But like I'm looking into your eyes. You are a person. I would never think certain things about you that I think about me or that I say to myself.
You would never say the shit you say to yourself to your friends.
Right. So that is like what it was for me. And so I'm glad you mentioned that and keep saying that. Spread that. Okay, thank you, mental hospital, because that is significant and we all need mental health.
Well, I mean, like, you got to learn skills somewhere. If it's not out here, it's in the hospital. It's with your therapist.
Yes.
That's why I want to tell people all the things I learned in there. So hopefully less people will have to go. It's okay if you have to go.
Yeah.
But I will say, you were the person, you were like the first and only person who knew. You were my boss at the time.
Yes.
And I honestly hadn't been there very long.
Right.
You know what I mean? I was like 6 to 8 months I'd been there.
Yeah.
And I was like, I have to go on a leave.
Yep.
I need to go to the hospital. And we had already built such a rapport, though. Like,
we were friends, too.
Yeah.
Which was nice. It's nice when you can get there. But
yeah. You were such a good role model for me. And you're not much older than me. I don't think anyone needs to be older than someone to be a good role model.
Yeah.
But you taught me that there doesn't need to be like a hierarchy. There's obviously a way to report to people, a direct report.
Right.
But it doesn't need to have like hierarchy and
I'm like, I am not better than anyone I work for or that anyone who works for me or with me, because I'm like, actually, you're here on this team because we need you. I am lacking something or I'm learning something from you. I cannot do it all. So sometimes they're better than you and you learn from them. And so that's how I treat people in general. I'm actually really thankful and happy to hear that you felt that, because I'm like, I am no better than you. In fact, I highly valued you, especially your work. I was like, we can't do any of this without her. So yeah, you're right. In my mind, there is no hierarchy, and that's the same like in my store. No hierarchy.
I've taken that with me everywhere, and then I've gone to bosses who really fucking love hierarchy. Pardon my language.
No, they thrive on it.
It was just like the nastiest situation, and it's coming from maybe insecurities from nepotism or other things, and you're just like, hey man, if you didn't need me here, don't hire me.
Yeah, exactly. But when you went through that, I was almost just impressed, because you handled it like, I am not crazy. I need help. And like, that's huge. Everyone freaking needs help. And sometimes it takes a stronger person to say they need help.
Well, and I wouldn't even say that I was like strong. I've been told like, you're so strong. I don't want to be strong anymore. Yeah. Like, I'm so tired. What I did have was family and friends who had been in the situation before and opened up about it and were like a safe place.
Yeah.
And I knew that it was an option and it's okay. And like, these are just things we do.
I love that it's okay.
Everyone has that.
Yes.
So, and I hope that I can be that for other people, because it is literally the reason I'm still here today.
Yes.
I was begging to leave.
Wow.
So.
Wow. I remember that whole time. And it's sad. I mean, you never know what someone is going through. Like, externally, you gave off of like a radiation, you know what I mean? Like a positivity, and unless anyone knew what you were going through, you can't know that about someone. So, I mean, you went through a lot, and it's just so awesome to see where you are
But
now.
like, to get back to where we were originally going, you were such a good boss, and
Thanks.
You really did. Like, everyone, you were the light of the office, and it wasn't until things started to change in the office that was no longer welcomed anymore.
Yeah. And it was interesting. I mean, that was my favorite job on earth. I really met the best people I could have ever met in my life.
We were at a tech company, for those who are unfamiliar. And it was fun. It was fashion
so
and
fun. And it was like building a family. That's really what it felt like. When I was there, things definitely had changed after I left. Apparently, I don't really know. I wasn't there, so I can't vouch for it. But meeting all the people I met was just like the best time of my life. So
I can go back. That first year I was there, the people I'm still in contact from there, I hope and feel like I will be in contact with for decades to come.
Agreed.
As long as social media is as easily accessible as it is. But
yes,
it was a lot of really good people that built that business. And like anything, it changes. It gets more corporate. And it inflames for me. But
I heard, and I'm just like, we'll chat about that.
But that's on mental illness and businesses not understanding that. So It's just like, it was an educational moment, I think, for a lot of people. And that's all we can do going forward, is learn from those things.
Agreed. And promote mental health, whether that is therapy or whatever it is, like you said.
Especially at a company that just lost their owner or CEO to suicide. So
agreed.
It was weird. But I think, again, I can't even legally speak to why I left.
Okay.
But it just shows you how important it is, because there's so many people in a business, and you, like you said, you never know what people are going through.
Agreed.
And it seemed like things were just getting more and more like, no fun, no enjoyment, no nothing.
We're here to work only.
Keep your head down. And if you're struggling already and you're taking away those happy things, like, that's just going to really impact your employees.
Agreed.
So is that what made you get to the point where you were like, I'm done at the tech company. I'm going to do this full time? Yeah,
I think, so what it came down to, and I own Boda Bridal with my mom.
And Boda Boutique.
And so we started this in her basement, I think almost 8 years ago now. Who knows? When was 2015? Early 2015. Yeah. We're looking at almost 8 years.
Wow.
Which is insane. It's insane to say it because it feels like it was also yesterday. But I was doing that full-time in her basement while working full-time at Jane.
Okay.
And I remember it was a horrible mental health thing for me. Like,
you were not eating.
No.
You were not sleeping.
At all. And I had just also gone through a divorce at the time, which was horrible and never wish that on anyone. And so my life was really just felt like it was hard all over. And then I was trying to date again after, trying to move on and everything. And it was like a nightmare there. And we can get into that.
Absolute nightmare.
But it was almost like everything felt like it was making my mental health worse. And I was working at the company we were at for, 8, sometimes 9 hours a day. It just depended. And then I would go home and take brides sometimes until midnight, which was crazy. And then I had to put in their orders in the morning and speak with my vendors in the middle of the night. And it was like...
Well, across the world.
Oh, yeah. And so it was crazy. It was a really draining. I mean, I've learned a lot about sleep and how that affects your mental health now. And I learned the hard way because I feel like I spiraled out of control in so many ways. But I was trying to just make my dream come true, which I've come now to be like, what even is that? What does that even freaking mean? What does that mean to make my dream come true? Because the more I think about it, I'm like, I'm living my dream literally every day now, not just in regards to Boda, but just things that make you happy. That's your dream. Not striving for this massive thing that you've thought of your whole life and then you get there and you're like, wait, what?
Or
wait,
that
what?
is it cumulative of other people's dreams
yeah.
too, projected onto you?
Yeah, that's a very good point. Or your own limitations, which then is a whole nother thing of feeling insecure or not good enough. Or just starting Boda, it was very embarrassing. I'll be honest. We could only afford cheaper photography, or we would ask everyone to work for free, collab models, and I felt like my factories weren't as good at the time, and so I felt almost embarrassed. I didn't want to put myself out there, so I was keeping it more quiet, referral, word of mouth. I design wedding gowns. Please come check us out.
I think so many entrepreneurs can empathize with that, though. It's you don't want to look like you're not already there, but you can't just go from 0 to 10.
Totally. You never want to be caught starting, because starting is so embarrassing. But it's guess what? Everyone that you admire started, and unless they had millions of dollars, they were probably embarrassed too.
And the people judging you have never done it before.
Thank you.
So
that's a huge point I would love to talk on. Even just now, the judgment and the anxiety that I feel, I'm trying hard to let that go. But we'll dive into that. Anyway, back to why I decided to leave. There was one person, Candace Nielsen. We
love Candace.
Love Candace. She may still not even know the impact she had on me, but there was one day that I will always remember. I was going through so much, and everyone was well aware of my sleep schedule at Jane. It was always did you sleep last night? 2 hours. Typical, and we would joke about it, and my eating was really weird. It was eggs and...
the thing you would always say when you got in, it's my makeup from yesterday.
Oh.
It's my makeup from 2 days ago. And I'm like, girl, go to the powder room.
Yeah, and
I got you. I'm
learned about dry shampoo. It was wonderful. It's a lifesaver.
But it wasn't even it's just you were doing it all.
Yes.
And so it took people, sorry.
No,
we'll
thank you.
Candace.
Yeah, you're right. But Candace was one of those people who saw and noticed, and she was and then dating so much too, just adding into that.
With
she was
what time?
Right. And everyone would be like, wait, how many dates did you go on? Wait, with what time? It was so funny. And there was just a joke about Destrie and her time. But I feel like everyone cared. Everyone cared about me.
Well, listen, we love you.
And
You're
I love
a hard
you and
person
everyone
not to
there.
love.
Oh my gosh.
Swear.
But
You
I
radiate
felt
all of this. Everyone loved having you around. The last thing we want is for you to leave the company and go. But when we know that,
there was a breaking point.
Listen, dude, there's only so much you can do at this tech company.
Totally. And I felt like I was letting you guys down as my team, because it was mentally I wasn't able to take on as much as I would have liked. And maybe that didn't even mean I was not a good employee, but how much I wanted to put in was 110%.
You can't have 2 full-time jobs.
You cannot. You can have one passion. And okay, that's hilarious because it's exactly what Candace said. She said, so I'm just wondering, like, and I don't know verbatim, but I remember how it made me feel in the kind of, you know, the words she said. But it was basically, so you're either going to have a hobby and a job, or you're going to have, like, a career and you're going to, like, take the leap and do it. When are you ever going to have this time again? You don't have kids. You know, you are single. I was living with my parents at the time.
Which is so nice when you're starting a business.
Yeah. Everything was open for me. And she's like, why are you putting this stress on yourself to do it all? I'm like, I don't know. I need money to go shopping. Was that what the answer was?
That was your therapy.
Yeah.
That was hands down your therapy.
It was. And my therapy. So I was spending a lot of money counseling and shopping every month. So I'm like, that's what it was. And so I said, okay, you're right. How long until I can pick up my lifestyle, move out of my parents with my own career? Who knows? Will it fail? Who knows? But, like, no one hurts in the situation but me. And, like,
and you can't know if it'll work if you don't try it.
Totally. And so she said it, and she's like, I mean, I don't know. I think you should just do it. I think you should take the leap and do it. The tech company will always take you back. Any company will always hire you again. There will always be someone hiring. And she's like, you know what? What if it's a week? In a week, you're like, forget this. I'll come back. I was like, oh my gosh, it's not that scary anymore. What do I have to lose? Like, really, Candace, thank you. I think I thanked her a couple of months, maybe a year ago, but I don't even know if she still understood that was like, she's right. What am I doing? And so I one day just said, it's freaking now or never. And it was so sad. It was like I still loved working there. It was like I'm leaving my friends and family behind.
Well, you're still, like, your group of best friends is
still very close.
From there.
Exactly. Yes, that's exactly right. And we still see each other every month, if not more.
Right.
And so, oh man, it was so hard. Like, I sobbed and sobbed. And then the way I like to leave a company is, like, on a high note. I'm not going to be sad. So I always, and this is serious, I put on Don't You Forget About Me, Simple Minds from The Breakfast Club. And I blast it. I'm like, don't you forget about me. And I just think I'm so great. I think Caroline was recording me while I did this on the last one. I'm so weird, but I was like, no, I want it to be funny. Like, I want to leave with good energy and, like, not feel sad.
Night and day from the way I left.
Perfect.
So
well, the situations were different.
Well, but at least you gave it that, and you did it for yourself.
Yeah. I was like, I just can't. I don't want this to be like a sad trauma moment for me. It's like, this is still my friends and family. This is funny. I will see them again. Yes. But I have this opportunity where there can really be something with my company. And I wanted to open a store. How in the world would I have ran a store and worked? It was like, well, I can just text the employees. I know. I'm like, you just can't. So I went for it. We opened the store. I thought I was so cool. Can I even tell you? This cute little store in Gardner Village. And I look at it now and I still am like, oh, embarrassing. But why? Why should I be embarrassed?
It's so cute.
Yeah. And I'm like, it's something that other people can't do or like something I didn't think I could do. And I proved myself wrong. And then I proved myself wrong again.
Even bigger than proving other people wrong.
It is. Mm-hmm.
I had to start showing up for myself because I was like, why am I would never just flake on a friend like I'm flaking on myself.
Yeah.
I want to do this. I said I would. And she's sitting over there being like, hey, bitch, when are you going to do what you said you were going to do?
Agreed. And, like, holding yourself accountable is huge, especially self-employed. That was something that I learned really fast. It was like, wait, I can't just, like, wake up at 11 a.m. and make this happen. It will go nowhere. So it was like, oh, interesting. I still have to wake up at 6 or 7, especially if you want to work out. You have to, like, prioritize, and still it is a job. And then
how did you get yourself out of, like, so you quit the job, so you weren't doing that. Was it just getting back to the basics of, like, eating and sleeping 8 hours and exercising?
Oh, yeah. And mental health was, like, my number one, because I quickly realized it wasn't working 2 jobs. That wasn't the problem. Sure, it added to it. But the problem was I no longer had, I don't know, the discipline to decide what was best for me. Truly, I was disciplined in working hard, but what did that mean for my mental health, my physical health? It was bad. And so I realized I need to sleep these 8 hours. And now I have the time to do so. It's not a choice. It really is a choice for me to like sleep that much, because if it was up to me, I would stay up all night, every night. And I'm just like, it's a choice to, I don't know. I've just read so many things about your brain and what sleep and water, which I hardly drink water still. That's still a problem.
Those mints, though.
I have no more addiction to the mints. Oh, shout out to Wintergreen Lifesaver Mints. You're welcome.
Hold on.
Addicted.
Hold on.
Especially if they're crumbly. Do you know what I'm talking about? Oh, I love you.
I saved it.
It's literally going to be crumbly. So I'm going to save it. Oh, it's, yeah. You can tell if they look powdery. That's how an addict would tell you about mints.
Oh, good.
I'm not addicted anymore. In fact, I carry them at our stores because they're amazing. I don't eat them. Like, I'll eat maybe 2 if I am around them, but I had a whole cup every day.
Destrie also eats M&Ms.
I used to. Peanut butter M&Ms. I would chomp off the chocolate, rip the shell off in a pile of carcasses, and eat the peanut butter.
Yeah.
Yeah, you remember? That. Of course you remember. You sat right next to me for at least a year. How long? 2 years? How long was it?
At least a year.
Oh my gosh. Sick. I still have weird eating habits. I'm not going to act like I've recovered from that.
I mean, the whole population has weird eating habits. Yeah. It's about recognizing it and doing something about it.
Yeah. And, you know, I stopped with those 2 things.
I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
I'm so proud.
Thank you. Growth.
So you have 2 stores.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned one at Gardner Village,
yes,
and then one at
Trolley Square. So we opened Trolley Square like a year and a half ago. I just wanted sort of a different vibe. I wanted to increase our quality and products a little bit, so I needed a higher end store to do so, because I'm like, this cute little store at Gardner Village, great, but I don't think I'll be able to sell a $5,000 dress there. And I wanted to design elaborate, beautiful gowns where someone with a $500 budget can get, but also someone with a $5,000 budget can get what she wants.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I just want to be able to do that for people. So I want to open the second store. And yeah, I feel like we were in a place where it made sense. It felt like we were outgrowing the one location. I mean, they're still pretty close, but it feels like it still makes sense.
Well, and like you said, different demographics a little bit.
Totally.
As well.
Yeah, there is. And it's also nice just feeling like you have this little bit of separation where you're free to create more, because I'm not trapped in one box anymore, which it's interesting when you own a business and maybe it's just fashion, but I highly doubt it, but you feel so judged by everyone that you start to fall into the box of what it is. And maybe you've seen this even just with podcasts in general. You're like, I have to do it this way or I'm not a part of it. Right? So I'm stuck really hard right now with like, I want to design only the dresses that will sell to this demographic, only the dresses that I know are like, no one will think, oh, this is weird. And I feel like I lost myself over the last few years in trying to focus on how to make sales rather than how to love what I'm doing. Like, I love designing. I love being creative, and
you're so
was gone.
good at it.
Oh, my gosh,
you really are so good at it. In every aspect. It's not just dresses. It's the way you pick and buy for your boutique. And you were doing that stuff at the tech company.
Yeah.
That's where I got to see it the most, you know? But, like, it came in so many different ways that, like, to say that you're not creative or can't, that would be blasphemy. But you really are, like, the fact that you leaned into it and did it. Like, some of my favorite wedding dresses, and your girl's not, like, super stoked on wedding dresses. It's not something I've, like, aspired to.
Right.
And so when I see them and they stand out to me, that means it's, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that means a lot to me. And especially with where I want to go with the company, because even like you said, you're like, I don't this wedding gown is not my dream. I don't know. You might wear a power suit, girl. Taylor.
But also
cooperative. I don't remember.
Because a lot of your gowns look like they could go to other places instead of weddings as well. Like
exactly.
Multi-occasional.
Yeah, and that's what I'm going for now. And I want to do suits as well, just because I want everyone to feel like they can come to Boda and they're represented, which I feel like is what.
Call me up if you need help with the suiting line.
I know, seriously though. But I was like, I just want everyone, even just what you're doing in life in general, you're trying to represent people who are not represented and that you didn't see growing up. So I love that so much. And I'm like, that's how I want my company to be. I want everyone to feel included, or like, I know that I can find what I'm looking for, or they can change it. You know what I mean? I'm like, I don't want my vision to mean everyone else has to have that vision. This wedding dress is for everyone. No, I want you to be able to change it, because everyone's going to have their own personal style and everything. So that's become important to me. But I also am like, how do I keep true to myself while trying to do what I think everyone else wants? And that's been kind of interesting.
Like, you got to have the ones that fit in with everything.
Yeah, really standard.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then creative. Do your more, creative elements. So
me and my mom are actually, she loves designing too. So she's really like the ideas person, like, oh, there's all this. And I'm usually like, oh, that'll never sell. That's crazy. What? And then the more we get into it, and I was actually talking to some of my awesome employees, they were like, why don't you just do what you want? Maybe people will say, hey, I like that. It's different. And I was like, that's the problem. I'm so scared of the judgment. Like, as a business owner, and maybe you'll see this getting reviews, if you get one that's not the highest possible praise, like destroys you. And maybe me, because I'm sensitive, but I feel like anyone, you're an empathetic person, you're gonna be like distraught. And so
I'm distraught by people not saying something sometimes. Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Yes, you just never know. But putting yourself out there in any way opens you up for judgment. And I've learned in talking to so many amazing people, like, that's okay. If you're putting yourself out there, that's okay if they're going to judge you. Not everyone's going to like it. Not everyone's going to be happy.
Have you heard Brene Brown's analogy of like, well, if you're not in the arena with me, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I love Brene Brown. You introduced me to Brene Brown. So yes, for mental health. And like, yeah, that's so true. And even my counselor will say things like that. Like, you know what? That's okay if not everyone's happy. At the end of the day, are you happy? Did you follow your truth? Did you do what you know you should have done? Especially like if a bride is upset or something crazy happened with her dress, but we've done our part and I'm still devastated, or I'm trying everything I can to help her. My counselor's like, but why? Why do you do that? Because that's taking something from you when like you didn't need to do it. You need to just speak your truth, live your truth. And okay, someone said something rude on social media, or they didn't like this or that. Why do you care? And I'm like, freak, I don't know.
Someone told me once, other people's opinion of you is none of your business.
Wow, I love that.
And I was like,
yes.
Yeah, if you have anything, and I've seen like a few TikTokers post videos about this, like it'll be a rude comment. They'll post about it and be like, did you know? You can scroll past this.
Oh,
you don't have to follow me. Or it's like someone who's following them, but they're like talking shit. And it's like,
why are you here?
Hey, free world.
Yes.
You don't have to follow me. I'm not forcing you to be here. If you hate my shit, leave.
Oh, see, that is the type of energy I wish I had. Like, I'm going to get there.
It takes practice, for sure.
Yeah, it's like not taking it personally. And what you said, someone tied that in by saying something like, the version of you they created in your head is what you're feeling like insecure about, but that's not you.
Let me remind you what you said when you first walked in. You have changed a lot since I have known you. Mm-hmm. And I said, me too.
Yes.
So the fact that like even in the last year, I've changed a lot.
Wow.
And to think that anyone would know us as our current version, or you kind of have to just take everyone's reactions as like, oh, they knew me as this, so that's okay. I should help them get to know me better now. Or maybe you don't need to. Maybe that's gone and passed. But
I love that. Especially every day, day to day. I may have done something yesterday that would be against who I am today and be like, but I get to change and I don't have to stay in that like whatever people think of me or whatever I think of myself. I get to choose.
And you don't owe anyone an explanation.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. See, this is so good because I know it will help other people, but it helps me too.
Good.
Because
well,
like,
I'm here for this
sincerely.
conversation.
Yeah.
This stuff is all just noise.
I know. I'm like, seriously though, these are the things where you watch someone doing a business or you watch someone, like I watched you start this and I'm like, amazing. She's always wanted to do this. So impressive, so inspiring. And you're like, I don't even care. I don't even want to do that. You're like, I'm not here to be a hero. I just want people to like hear what I have to say. I want to put my voice out there and just do what I want to do. It fulfills you.
Honestly, the last part, it's that it fills my cup. And as an adult, I've realized I have a lot of friends who are very busy with work.
Yeah.
If I want to see them for a couple hours, even if it's like every few months, this is kind of the way I'm getting to do that.
I love it. I know, because I'm like, truly, we get to catch up, and this is amazing.
And for us to be able to justify that it's good for like both our business,
Agreed.
Helps.
Agreed.
And it helps you kind of allocate that time, especially if it's been a minute since you've seen the person. Like, I've got Afa coming in. I've got all these other like people that I just don't get to see very frequently.
I love that.
And that's okay. Like eventually this will be more of like my hobby type thing, and then the consultancy's that. But you gotta take the time to connect and do what fills your cup, even if it, is in turn a lot of work.
Yeah.
Because if you're not well, it's like the face mask on the plane, right? You can't take care of other people.
Agreed. Fix yourself first. Help everyone else.
And Louise has been taking care of me for too long now. I'm getting to a point where I can take care of her and we're thriving, and
I love that. I mean, you both seem happy. Even she's just like pretty chill now. She's like, we're in a good spot. You can feel it. You can totally feel it.
She loves the air.
I love that. But something, that I wanted to talk about with the consultancy is like, I think it's important to help others too. And it's interesting because I get so trapped in like, here's what I have to do. And that's my line. And I've written it out for myself. I have my daily to-do list and everything. But I don't reach outside of the box. And so I was hearing, your first few episodes and thought, wait a minute. First of all, I didn't even know you were doing your consultant.
I've been saying consulting agency, but I guess there's a word called consultancy.
Oh, okay. Because I heard you say that. I'm like, is that what we're using? It is.
No.
So, yeah. So I was like, this is great because I want to help you represent that in Boda as well. And so I was like, hold on.
That would be amazing. And
what you had mentioned was the education piece. And I was like, yes, let's do it.
Let me come in and talk to your team.
Yes. But also put you as a model because I didn't even know you were interested in modeling. But of course,
that's the thing, though. I think, right? Like, I'm not advertising myself as a model. No. I think it's hard for new models to advertise themselves as that.
Yeah.
It just because unless you're like getting paid by big brands, you feel like an imposter.
Totally.
But yeah, I think and that's not my passion, like we talked about. But if I'm willing to be the representation I didn't have as a child,
right?
I'm happy to do it.
That's why I don't even want to like call it a model because I feel like that felt so like inauthentic. Yeah, but I'm like, that's what it is, like a role model, and you don't want to be that, but like you would have loved that as a kid.
I was gonna say whether I want to be it or not, acknowledging that I am it for some people. The fact that I've been able to get messages from people who've lost fingers and they're struggling. There's someone I'm talking to with that, like, pretty closely, and they had an incident at a bar where, like, they just needed someone to talk to about it that would get it.
Wow.
And from across the world, I was in DMs kind of helping them get through that moment, and that, for me, made it all worth it. Getting another DM from a father who just had a son with a limb difference like mine, and he's finding someone who's living a normal, happy life. I mean, other than mental health issues.
Yeah.
I'm doing okay.
Yeah.
And it's just to show that, like, when you finish the 3rd episode, you'll see, like, my parents didn't have nearly what the parents these days have. And I'm happy to be that resource for people.
Love that.
Because I understand how it would have impacted my life.
Yes. I love where you've come with that too, because I can't even imagine the small things I'm insecure about. It's like I let that hold me back. I'm sure you felt so insecure when people were teasing you. You did not let that hold you back. You're now like, No, I'm not going to put my hand in my pocket.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to show. I'm going to talk about it. Even make fun or like poke fun or make light of it. Because you're like, guess what? It's different, but I am not different than everyone because of it. This is a different thing.
Did I make jokes about it a lot when we worked together?
I'm sure, but not that I remember. Like, it didn't stick with me like that because it never came off as like, I'm going to like always talk about it as a way to act like I don't care. No, it was very much like you're confident in your skin, and that's impressive. Even people with a limb difference, and even with people just any physical difference or feeling different.
Yes.
It's inspiring. So like, I don't think you've put yourself in a box with it. I think you've put yourself on a pedestal where it's like, this is different, but holy cow, it relates to everything, really.
Well, let's bring that pedestal down. I don't want to be
on the pedestal. The pedestal is 15 feet high, and you did. I know, I'm like,
get off your high horse, Chelsea.
It's now a horse, and you're riding on a beach. The wind's blowing in your hair.
Well, thank you for the kind words.
I'm serious.
I feel like we have gotten off on a bit of a tangent.
That's what we're here for.
This is not about me, though. This is about you.
The show inspires.
So you talked a lot about, okay, so you took the plunge, you left the tech company.
Yeah.
Full-time, like, consistent pay, benefits, all of that, to go start your own bridal boutique.
Yeah.
And you have 2 stores now.
Mm-hmm.
You've gone through the thick of it with dating.
Yes.
Should we dive into at least 1 or 2 of those stories?
Oh, I would love to. I have my favorite one, and like there's no room to reenact it, so I'll pretend like I'm not a
reenact as much as you can.
I will get in there. Okay.
Camera 3 has got probably up to here.
Okay.
And up.
I'm sure you'll remember this story. A lot of people named this the pooper.
Yep. Yep, that's it.
I mean, this is just the best one to tell because even if this sweet soul sees it,
I am not know who it is.
Yeah, and I'm not like, okay, there are some guys who deserve to be wrecked online. I won't do it. I feel like, you know what? This one is just so good.
It is like, the best. It's the best. And you're such a storyteller. So I'll just
that's what it is. I'm like, I'm here for the story. Okay. Once upon a time, I was dating.
Was it about 2018?
Yes. That sounds about right.
Hey, Louise. Can you stop looking? That's not going to sound great in the audio.
She's like, fine, whatever.
Thanks, sis. It was in 2018.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably right. I don't remember anything, but that's probably right. So I was really just going for it at the time. I was like, I am just going to date everyone and anyone to see what I like. I don't even know anymore. I've changed so much as a person that I'm like, I don't even know who I am, which you shouldn't be dating when you don't know who you are. But
I don't know. It can help you find it pretty fast.
Totally. And you learn, like, who do I want to be? Who do I want to be with?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, anyway, I was dating all types of people. Men. All types of guys. And
mostly in Utah County, Utah.
Yeah, that's where it all was for sure. So at the time, okay, I mean, there's so much to tell. I'll try not to get too elaborate because I do dive into too many details, but
I'll cut out the ones that we don't need.
Yeah. So basically, we were at a restaurant. He was eating a lot, which is great, but like it was supposed to be just we're meeting up to like literally get a smoothie or something.
Mans was hungry.
Really hungry for some reason, and he did eat dinner. And I don't judge. Straight up, I would have been like, yeah, let's go. I wasn't hungry.
Is this like a nervous eating situation, you think? He's like,
could have been.
I'm stressed.
It could have been. And I wasn't judging it. It's part of the story. So that's why I'm bringing it up.
Lots of
large quantities of food yeah. and drinks. Non-alcoholic, just a lot of like thick, full type of drinks, like hefty drinks. He was getting a smoothie and a lot. Okay, it was a sushi place, which I don't know why we met up there for like a 9 p.m. quick whatever, but we did. So
she had limited time.
Yes, and that's how I am. I'm like, we've got like 30 minutes for this date. Is that okay? And if I liked them, we could extend it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it was like, oh, I'm so busy, but I have 30 minutes. Like,
yeah, you gotta
keep
know.
it short. And if you know, I mean, you know if there's a connection or not. And it's like, oh, why are we just
10 minutes tops.
Totally.
You
and
know.
if you haven't found out by then, you need to figure yourself out. So here's the problem, though. When you know it's not working and you don't have boundaries. That's my problem. So I have no boundaries still to this day. I'm
stand up and leave.
Thank you. Yes. So, but at that point, it was still like, he's so sweet. He was Italian.
A little bit of a people pleaser. So you want
huge people
them
pleaser.
to feel like they're having a great time.
Yeah. And also, I want them to like me, even though I don't want them to like me. Like, you can like me as a person, but do not fall in love with me. Stay at a distance, please.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, eating a ton. It was great. I did not care. He was fun and nice, and his accent did not, that was helpful.
That was great.
A cute Italian accent. Like, sure, we're here for it. At the time, I happened to be driving a Honda Civic with a turbo. Wow, what an amazing car, right? Well, in his eyes, that was his dream car. It was his dream car, and so we walk out, and I was saying goodnight, goodbye. Like, I had fun. It was clearly not a hit for either of us.
High fives.
I mean, no, he was into it. I forget. Not for either of us, but not for me. It was not happening. Anyway, so I was like, hey, thank you, hug, bye. And he's like, no. Is that a Honda Civic? Is that the new Honda Civic? 2019 was the Honda Civic, so it was 2018. Good memory. Now it's all coming together. My 2019 white Honda Civic was his dream car. Good for him.
Yeah.
So he naturally begged to drive
Please let me drive this.
Yes, that turbo. Oh, the turbo. I'm like, okay. I mean, really, he was so sweet and so nice. And he actually had an online presence himself with a book he was writing. So, like, I trusted him. I'm like, his reputation stands to lose something. Yeah. So I'm not in danger, even though, like, straight up, don't let a man drive your car to the canyon.
The first time you meet him.
The first 30 minutes or hour, right?
We learned our lesson.
We did. And so he's like, let's just go for a quick drive. I really want to take it, whatever. So we're driving up the canyon. It was only like 15 minutes away, so it wasn't like we're going hours away. And as we're driving up the canyon, he's like blasting all of his music. And shout out to Eurovision. I did not know what it was at the time. I know now, and I watched it last year. Really good and hilarious. Did you see it last year? Okay, so funny. Anyway, he had this song that he was in love with from Eurovision. And he was like, oh, I got to play this song for you. I'm going to pull over and play this song for you.
At least he pulled over.
Yes, because he got so into it.
Well, no texting and driving allowed.
Yeah,
here.
No. So it was great. He pulled over. We had like some view, whatever, the stars were out. I'm like, this is not the worst position to be in. He's a nice guy.
Maybe it'll get cute somewhere around here.
Right.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. There was still 10% chance that I was willing to sit and
do you think that 10% came from the accent?
Yes. 99% of the 10% was the accent. I love that. That was a great view. So the accent and him singing, I'm like, I'm here for it.
She's only there to hear him speak.
That's right. So anyway, I love singing. I love music. So I was like, yes, I'm in for this. So he starts playing it, and it's A Million Voices, Paulina something. Look it up later. Hilarious. So it's very intense. Maybe we should play it. I don't know. Okay. I don't know if we can.
Yeah.
Because I can really get into it.
Because everything's recording on my side.
Yes.
But
yeah. So I'll just give a little bit. I've got to have something here to give me.
Yes, please do.
A Million Voices.
This is not like a professional podcast. It's just super lax.
Perfect. That's what I'm here for. Okay. Yeah. Oh, here it is. So he's getting into this, okay?
Oh, he's like lip syncing?
Yeah, and he's just sitting there still under the chair.
Under what chair?
Oh, sorry. In the car chair. Sitting in the chair. Not under. He got under. But,
yeah.
So he's starting to get into this. And it's very intense with, like, my subs and everything. I was like,
oh,
holy cow. And then he shoots the chair all the way back.
Legroom.
And then he gets under. Under my steering wheel.
I forgot.
And he's like just so into it. And I'm like, I was not on his level. I wasn't there yet. And he's just...
You're too sober for this. He's on.
Are you excited? So that really happened.
I'm sorry.
No, all good. Bring it on, girl. Bring it on.
The wool rug just got you. Go lay down.
So, wow, there was that. And I watched. Normally I would get into it, but I just wasn't there.
You were in the passenger seat, just like...
shocked. And like this 6'2" Italian man just going for it.
6'2".
Very tall dude.
Those dudes don't usually try to fit in small places.
Kneeling under my steering wheel, just like arms extending and looking at me. And then, so he sings through the first chorus part and then he like turns it down a little, but it's still playing. He's like, I have to tell you something.
No. Keep it to yourself.
I am feeling very intense feelings already. I don't know how you're feeling, but I feel like I have had this dream about a girl my whole life, and I am sure that it's you. And I was like,
did the white Honda Civic with the turbo seal the deal?
That's what it was. I can't imagine it was anything else. I'm really not that special, dude.
You're like, I was not even speaking at dinner.
Yeah, hardly. I mean, I'm probably nice enough, but like, I wasn't into it. And that's, maybe it's not clear. Maybe that was a part of my problem. Maybe it was like, oh, she loves me. She's into it. Because I'll be honest, maybe I give off those vibes because I'm scared of hurting someone's feelings. Okay.
Or of what these psychopaths will do if you say, I'm not interested. Because you also had to deal with that a few times.
That's exactly right.
So with this for one's survival and safety, she just smiled and nodded.
Yeah. And then here we are, him professing his love for me. He's like, I just can see us together. I'm wondering how you're feeling about all this. And I was like, that's a lot for me. I don't think I'm there yet.
It's been almost an hour.
Yeah, and this song's playing a million. And you're like, holy cow, this is so intense. Why? He's burying his love for me. All right, I just met him. So it was super intense. And anyway, I don't remember how we got out of the situation, but I basically was like, I was like, okay, let's exit this conversation. We should probably get back. It's super late. It like wasn't that late, but especially for me at the time. I was like, it's 11. It's my bedtime in 5 hours. So I really need to get home and get ready for bed. So like I got him to head down the canyon and then he just goes quiet and I'm like, I hurt his feelings, whatever, it's fine. And out of nowhere.
No music playing.
No, it was awkward.
Okay.
He's gripping the steering wheel and he's like, oh, I missed a beautiful part. Okay. So he decided he was going to take a walk outside the car before I like fully offended him, I think. He's like, I'm just going to go look at the stars real fast. So I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. So then I see him walking around my car, kind of like a stiff, weird walk, like probably letting out gas, I would assume. Ripping ass right outside my car. And originally I was like, should I go out with him? Like walk around? No, because he's farting.
Yeah, fart storm over there.
Avoid. It was like, he's out there like looking around at the stars. And I'm like, dude, I know what you're doing. This is so uncomfortable. He gets in and carries the scent with him. And I'm like, wow, could this get any more uncomfortable for me?
Take another lap.
I know. Take a couple laps. Hang out for an hour. I don't know.
We're not in a rush to sit and fart smell in this dream car of yours. The audacity.
Yeah. So then that's when it got silent in the car and he didn't say anything like, oh, excuse me. It was just like nothing gets in. We're driving down.
I don't smell like a shit.
Yeah. Then all of a sudden out of nowhere, I am exploding in whatever his Italian accent was. Wish I could have nailed that. And I'm like, what do you mean you're exploding? Like, oh, what? And he's like, I am so sick. I'm so sick. This is where the food comes into play.
Oh.
He had so much sushi and it wasn't sitting well with him. And yeah. So we were 15 minutes from the nearest gas station.
You're in the canyon.
Yes, we're in the canyon. So he's flooring it down the canyon again. Okay, we're in my car. You better not shit in this car right now. You better not.
Gotta pay for a detail.
Yes. Yeah. And so I'm like, it's okay. Go as fast as you want. All good. I'm so sorry. I hope you're doing
just,
okay.
Like, in the passenger seat of your own vehicle with a stranger.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And at that point, I highly, highly regretted the canyon drive. If I wasn't already regretting it during the song. Yeah. So we pull up to the gas station, and they were closed. This gas station closes at like 10 p.m. So then we have two other options. We can go to the nearest grocery store, maybe 10 minutes away, or my parents' house 5 minutes away.
Absolutely not an option.
Well, I offered my parents'
Absolutely
house.
not an option.
No boundaries. I did not want my car to get exploded in. It wasn't like I don't feel good. It was like I'm exploding. So I was like, Kate, my parents' house is 5 minutes away. Luckily, he was like, no, I'm not going to your parents' house.
He at least had boundaries.
He did. He had boundaries, and he knew I cannot go explode in her parents' house when I'm going to marry this girl, you know?
It can't be the first day I meet my in-laws. Just can't.
My in-laws cannot see this side of me yet.
I don't poop.
Someday. No one does. No.
So the volcano's about to erupt.
So then he goes to Smith's, which was close in the area, parks my car right in front of their door, runs in. I really should have left. I mean, I'm not that person, but many people were like, you should have left. I was like, yeah.
Uber's the
but
thing.
I'm not that person. Maybe it wasn't. Was it a thing in 2018? Well,
that's
lessons learned.
Yeah, you're just a good person.
I'm just a no boundaries person.
Not anymore.
No, we're learning. So anyway, it was very uncomfortable. He drove himself back to his car and he's like, oh, I would love to take you out again. And I was like, I am not 100% sure that I'm interested, but I would love to be your friend. Like, I would love to be your friend. You're such a good person. Like, he was so nice. I have to say, like, really so nice.
This is where we differ.
Yeah, huge difference here. Yeah, he kept texting me, calling, sending me long videos about how excited he was to continue dating me. And I just kept saying, I really see us as friends. Yeah. So I finally just blocked him because I wasn't nice enough to say, I am serious. I'm not interested. It was just like, how many times can I say I want to be a friend? So I blocked him, and I think I traumatized him. So sorry,
he traumatized
if you're watching this, you know what happened. And I'm sorry for not having boundaries and allowing this to go as far as it
For what it's worth, I've never known your name. So
no one has.
Knows.
A couple people know.
And hey, I'll be the first of my close friends that know. They know it's coming. I have shit my pants as an adult multiple times.
Oh, perfect.
And if you haven't, you're lying, I think.
Well, I've peed my pants.
Something.
Okay, yeah.
I think people who... I'm going to die on this hill. I think if you've said you haven't pooped your pants as an adult, you're lying. And that's okay. Not everyone's ready to say it out loud.
I really haven't, though. I swear.
Yet.
I agree. A yet can be thrown in. Yeah.
But listen.
It will happen.
It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
There's no shame here.
Right.
It's a funny-ass story.
Oh.
The levels it took...
It just kept escalating.
The climax could have been the, like, on the knees.
Yeah, because that's wild.
Yeah. Also, the wanting to drive your car could have been it, too.
Yeah.
It just kept going.
Yeah. But now we're here, and I have certainly improved my situation.
Which means?
I have a wonderful dream fiance, if my ring hasn't been shown yet. I am so happy.
Please tell us all about him and the engagement.
I'm going to take a drink.
Please. Yeah. This can be cut out. So
I don't know what happened, but singing that it's a stupid thing.
Well, I gotta blow my nose anyway,
Perfect. So what part do we start on? You can say, tell us about your fiance or whatever.
So, I'm not gonna start with because I cut those out anyway.
Perfect.
How did you two meet?
So I have a shout out for Hinge dating app. I was using shout out to Hinge, girl.
Please be a sponsor.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Hinge. She's looking for funding. We have a good story.
And we have 2 successful stories so far. So let's go.
I love that. So, and I could tell the difference with Hinge. I was on Tinder for like a week and wanted to die.
Yeah.
I was on Bumble for a while and caught some real interesting fish with that. Really interesting catfish. I never got catfish, but like.
I feel like Bumble, because of the way it's set up, listen, nothing against men who want to be approached.
Mm-hmm.
If that's the only reason most of them are on there is because they don't want to be the one reaching out first.
Yeah.
It just didn't end up working out.
Right.
Anyway.
And I'm one who's like, I kind of need a man to take the lead here, especially because I'm usually going to be like stiff arm you. Usually. It takes a lot for me to chase someone, and I was never in the mood to do that, and I ended up doing it a few times. But I was like, you know what? Hinge felt different because it was like, okay, people can ask questions about any of this stuff. You can comment specifically on something. It felt more, I don't know, personal and not
It was way easier to have actual conversation because of the prompts and things like that for me.
Yeah.
Than it was, and gives them more context to your life if you do it right.
Yeah.
To reach out and talk to you.
Yeah. And what it feels like is Tinder is like hookups purely and only, even though I know a lot of people who met on Tinder, and good for you. That was like when it was earlier on, but like really congratulations. Right. But then it was like Bumble, hit or miss. You might date them. It might be a hookup. You never know. And Hinge felt like we're here to date. And it was more serious.
And professionals.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yes. Yeah. So
that have careers.
If you're not on Hinge and you're single, just get on Hinge and you're ready. Like, do it.
Give it a try.
Yes. So I found like a couple of guys on there. But then I got to this place where I had been through some really crazy relationships.
Hell yeah, you did.
Yeah, so crazy. And I was like, you know what? I'm done freaking dating. I'm done with it. I'm done with the guys that only want other girls who are like completely flaunting everything on Instagram, and that's the only type of girl they want.
You're a bit more conservative.
Totally. And I'm like, so, and that felt like, okay, it was against me. I'm not going to go post my entire body, but that was the only girls they wanted. And so I felt like I'll never be up to the guys' standards of this generation or whatever it was. Right. So I was just done dating, and I was still like, but you know what? I could have friends, and maybe I just need to like look for someone not based on like how hot they were, right? For once in my life, it was like, do I have something deeper with this person before I even say yes, or send something or respond to their message on Hinge? So it became a really different dating game for me. I was in this place where I was no longer desperate. It was like, if I meet someone, great. If not, I'm doing well. Like, my business was starting to do well, and I was in a much better place. So it came to the point for me where I didn't need anyone, and that's the right time to find someone. And they all say that, and I heard that so many times. When you don't need someone, when you're in a good place, your mental health is good, everything, you'll find someone. I'm like, whatever. No, I'll find someone and then they'll help me.
Lies.
Right. And you tell yourself, okay, I've heard this so much. It's bullcrap. Well, here I am. It happened to me. And maybe I believe in manifestation. Maybe it had something to do with that. Like, I'm not looking for like the hottest whatever anymore, even though I do think my fiance is the hottest. Shout out.
Pause. Beauty is so much in the eye of the beholder. Like, someone can think someone's the hottest person on the earth, and then someone else won't. So
agreed. Yeah. So it's like, what am I even looking for? Because I feel like the most of my dating was like, only if I find you attractive, because you have to be attracted to this person, which is fair. But
did you find yourself also looking for people that you thought other people would find attractive?
Wow, that makes sense. Yes,
because
probably.
I was like, I felt, well, okay, here's the thing. I dated bald dudes like 3 times in a row.
Yeah.
And so it gave me practice to be like, I get that that's not everyone's jam.
Yes.
But they're hot to me.
Yes, and that's what matters.
And then now immediately ugly, since I know
you know too much.
Happened. Do you know what I mean? Like, I know way too much.
Yeah.
And so I think that can really, when you go into it with that different mindset of like, oh, no, I really want to connect with someone, and then their looks are a plus. You end up getting like the hottest person in your eyes that you've ever seen. What
a miracle that actually is a thing. And it's funny because it's not like you need to find someone who you don't find attractive. That's not what you need to do. Saying. Right.
Yeah.
But like I said, I need to find something more I connect on. And so this is so funny. We're just giving shout outs all day, but shout out to Shark Tank because I love Shark Tank. And so Brandon, my fiance, he was on Hinge and I saw him a couple of times and I kept totally ignoring him. I wouldn't send him anything.
So you had matched?
We hadn't matched yet, but I wanted to send him something because you can like or you can send a comment. And I was like, I want to send him something, but no, because there was a situation that he had with his ex and she was still on his Instagram. And I, for a second, was like, is he cheating on her? Because it seemed pretty.
It was just in like a gray area of the relationship.
Well, it wasn't, but he still had it posted. So it had definitely ended. Okay. But I was concerned about
deceiving,
it.
A little bit.
So I was like, ooh, I will not date a cheater. Right. They don't. Especially he didn't. He still kind of doesn't. But I'm like, okay, so that was a red flag for me. Yeah. And then I was like, oh, he's so cute. And I really like his profile. But I'm just not going to. So finally one day he had sent me a like and rude. Why didn't he send me a comment? Why didn't he say something? Rude. Red flag.
Lack of effort.
Yes. Which I was like, I have this rule where I'm like, if a guy doesn't say something, like make an effort, he's done. But it was him and I was already interested.
He would.
Right.
I hate that shit.
I know. So I was like, okay, whatever. Maybe he's busy. I'm just going to like reach out and say something. So anyway, we got to talking and found out we just had so much in common. Like everything about traveling. And it's funny now because I thought I mountain biked until I learned what mountain biking really was. So I rode a mountain bike along a river and a trail and I thought that was mountain biking. So I told him, I love mountain biking. And he's like, oh my gosh, me too. Which now I know. And he has bought me a specialized enduro, like $10,000 mountain bike.
Hell yeah.
And I have learned what mountain biking is. I love it, but it's
a lot harder than what you were doing.
Agreed. I'm like, oh, wait, it's not a stroll by a river in the mountains? What do you mean? So it's funny because maybe I fooled him on accident he was like, yeah, this girl mountain bikes. I did.
You thought you were mountain biking.
I did. And so we talked about that and I'm like, yeah, I love biking and whatever. And then we talked about Shark Tank, which is what initially drew me to him. Yeah. He had 2 truths and a lie. And one of them was like, I auditioned on Shark Tank or whatever on Shark Tank. And I was like, even if that's the lie, we have something in common. And clearly he's into business of some sort, which was definitely the track of mind I needed at the time. And like, I think we really connect. So we actually talked for 2 weeks before anything ever happened because he was traveling a lot. So I just got to know him. Then we went on our first date and here's where I knew, okay, there is something here. He freaking tricked me, okay? And I am all about pranks.
Yeah, girl. Wasn't your favorite show like...
Impractical Jokers!
Thank you.
Joe, I miss you. Anyway, he left the show and it's just not the same. But I still love all the guys. But yeah, I'm all about pranks. So funny enough, he didn't know that was something that I am into.
Wasn't in your bio.
Mm-mm. No, he has no clue. I mean, it probably was, let's be honest, but I don't think he knew he needed to prank me to get...
Yeah, I was going to say, or that it would carry the weight that it did.
Agreed. So we go to Bodega, and they have The Rest, the speakeasy underneath. Mm-hmm. And he tells me, hey, there's this place called The Rest. It's underneath Bodega.
Pause. Also, he's taking you to a nice place on your first date.
I know. Good guy.
Green flag.
Green flag. Hey, I've never heard of a green flag, but...
We have lots of green flags.
Waving. There's so many green flags with him. Oh, man. So good. But... he tells me, hey, yeah, we're going to this place. So I look it up and there's like Satan all over their website. And it was very intense for me. I was like, oh shit, this is weird. And it's a speakeasy. What do you mean it's underground? So I was already like, everyone's a liar. Everyone's crazy. Just like what I had gone through, it was so traumatic that I was like, oh, he's probably a freaking psychopath. But I was like, I'm still going to give him a chance. Like, yeah.
Great.
I was like, wait, why are we going there? Whatever. We're going there. I said yes. So we get there and I think I was late. I was about 45 minutes late. That is not new for me. Shocking, right? What? Destrie was late.
45 minutes.
To be fair.
My ass would have left and been like, no date number 2.
I honestly think he might have
Actually,
left.
pause.
Oh, yeah.
Pause.
Mm-hmm.
Because mine and my boyfriend's second date, he was like 30 minutes late. So.
And you stuck around. You stuck. Yes.
Okay, go on.
But I had a fair excuse. I think I had been working really late and then there really was traffic. He still doesn't believe me. There was traffic.
Well, weren't you coming from like...
Draper to Salt Lake?
Yeah.
And finding parking was insane. I think I drove around that block 30 times, and I wasn't used to downtown.
No.
So I was so embarrassed. I think I was 20 minutes late, and then it took me 25 minutes to park. So I was like, I'm so sorry. I literally can't find anything. So then I just ended up parking pretty far away and just ran. So I'm sweating and puffing and puffing when I get there. So embarrassed already. Being late is my worst nightmare, but yet I'm always late. And so it's like constantly letting myself down. Constantly. Like, girl, you should do better. And we never do better.
You're working on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. I am working on it. I was here just 30 seconds late today.
Wow. I mean, I think I was more behind than you. So.
Well, there we go. Baby steps. So I get there and he's like already best friends with everyone in there. I was like, oh shit, he invited a bunch of his friends. This is so awkward because he's like such a social guy. And then I was like, hi, I'm Destrie. Like, I immediately knew who he was. It was like I saw his cute I saw his cute smiling eyes and I was like hooked. Like, it was there.
He smiles us?
Mm-hmm. Oh. Yeah. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. So we walk in and he's like, hey, there's a password. Or I think he told me before there was like a secret password to get down there. It's abracadabra. And I was like, awesome. I know the password. Like, cool. I didn't see a password online, so I thought it was so cool. And so we walk up to the girl who, like, apparently there's no one who waits at the door now. I'm not sure. But anyway, she was waiting at the door for the password. He set this all up while he was waiting for me because what better thing we did. So he's like, I'm going to punk this girl if she really shows up. And so the girl's like, do you have the password? I'm like, abracadabra. And she's like, come on down. And I really thought it was so cool. And he's just giggling and like, why are you laughing? He's like, there's no password. I'm so sorry. And he just starts laughing. And I'm like, okay, I really like you.
Like, I held on to it for your second date and then made you be like, you'd be like, where's the girl for the password? Abracadabra?
No, not a thing. Oh. Anyway, I was like, oh, yeah. So it was like this cute way to start it. And then we just got into the deepest conversation of our lives. Like, we told everything that had happened. I found out, why his ex was still on Instagram and stuff. And it was like, okay, we've both been through a lot. And I think we connected over that. We just had a lot from our past, but we were still wanting to find that person, and like we both still thought there could be someone out there. I think maybe for him, he was really just trying to move forward. And for me, I wasn't trying to find someone, but in that moment, we were both like, okay, crap. There could be something here when neither of us wanted it. Like, I might have been.
Like, you did, but you didn't.
Agreed. Like, you always do.
Level, and then you didn't realize, oh, this is probably my person.
Yeah, and this is what I wanted, but I wasn't getting it, and I didn't think it was real. And all of a sudden, it's here.
That's my thing.
Yeah.
I did not think this was real.
Yes, that you could be so happy.
I thought everyone was bullshitting me this whole time. Even if I was in a relationship.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, like, I guess everyone has something.
Yeah.
I was making excuses for stuff left and right when I'm like, oh no, it should actually be like this.
And happy. And like most days should be happy. Everything will be work. But most days you should be excited and happy
feel
about
great about yourself.
Yes.
And make that person feel great about themselves or help that person feel great about themselves.
Absolutely. Yes to that. Because
it's not a scam.
Yeah. If you've been with narcissists, they bring you down and they lift you up. So you're used to these highs and lows, but the lows were okay because the highs were so high. And you get used to this pattern of like, I can be treated like crap because I know deep down this person loves me. And so boo, right? So
boo to that narrative.
Never. There's 0% of that that's true. And I learned now, especially being with someone who I'm like, wait, what do you mean you're not mad at me? What do you mean this is okay? What do you mean you're not jealous? What do you mean you don't think I'm lying? Wait, what? It was just like such a connection. And then we started dating during COVID. So our first date was a week before everything was shut down. Yeah. And so it was all of a sudden like, wow, how do we date now? This is interesting. So, well, he is the most creative man on earth. And this is why we're together, because our dates consisted of, hey, I just went and bought some succulents and pots. I would really love if you wanted to come help me plant tonight. Then I get there and he's making me dinner. And I'm like, what world is this? I am not good enough for you. I started second guessing myself. Like, oh my gosh, I'm not good enough for this man.
Well, now no one's gaslighting you, so you got to gaslight yourself.
There it is.
I feel that on another level.
Holy cow. That is eye-opening because you're right. You're like, no, there's something wrong here.
I got to a point in my relationship where I was like itching for drama. I was like, I'm so used to like there being some sort of element of like fighting or drama, and I was just like, I could actually feel it coming on, and I was like, oh, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna have to like go find a hobby or something because I have to feed this.
That makes sense, especially when you're used to feeling love through chaos.
Yes, and then to find love in like calm, peaceful, like,
yes,
we don't have to be yelling at each other to show that we care.
Yeah.
Like, you can show that you care for me by just like scratching my back or something. Right. That's great.
Even my counselor at the time, amazing, love her, she tried to tell me to leave my ex so much, and I was like, I cannot. You don't even know him. Yes, there's a lot of red flags, but like, you don't know him as a person. And I defended him, and she said, listen, you're gonna go into another relationship someday, and it's gonna be like all pretty much here, really pretty neutral, and you're not going to be sure that that person loves you because you're so used to extremes. You are getting love bombed out of control, the most passion and love in the whole world, and then you're getting treated like actual shit. Like, this person hates you. The flowers
showing up at work, the
long love letters, the please take me back, I love you.
The crying voicemails, it's terrible. I would never...
Yep, and then you're like, wait, they care enough about me to put in this much effort. They're a good person. They love me.
That all doesn't mean shit when you're telling me all these other things and treating me like garbage. And
yes, exactly.
99% of the time.
And I love that we know that now. We can look back now. In the moment, you're like, but you don't know him. You don't know his past and what he's been through. Or his family,
or like all these other layers that you have as a partner.
Yeah, I'm sure everyone has good in them, but not everyone's for you. And learning that was huge. And then, so I think at the beginning I was like, oh my gosh, he doesn't even like me. Like, there's nothing. He doesn't care. He probably doesn't care if I'm still dating anyone, which I didn't. After I met him, I was like, it's him or no one. This man is so good. I immediately deleted the apps, which also wasn't good because maybe it put pressure on him in a way that I didn't want to. Because he was so fresh out of his situation that I was like, oh my gosh, I don't want to pressure him if he needs to date other people.
But also, we're getting married.
And I told him on our first date. No, I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding. I'm recalling back to Mr. Man. I luckily didn't do that. But I did tell my friends like 2 weeks in, I think I love this guy and I'm in trouble. Yeah. Yep. But I didn't tell him.
That's a really scary feeling.
It was so scary because I was seriously down to like, I'm done. But then it became really, no one is better than him. So if it's not him, I'm going to be good.
But in that moment where you were like, oh, I'm in trouble, you also, correct me if I'm wrong, because I feel like this is the same. You felt like you would be okay if he just decided to stop talking to you that day too.
That's true. Wow. I mean, really I probably wouldn't have, but I knew
you would be could handle it, and it would be hard, but you would be okay.
Yes. Yeah. Instead of the traumatic, I want to die that I have felt in the past. This person's not
coming in and saving you like the last person. This person's coming in to help. They're going to be their own person.
Yes, we're individuals. You're going to be your
own person. And then you're just going to like merge that here and there and help each other. And
oh, that's spot on. It really is spot on. And so as we just kept dating, it was so clear to me, like, this is such a good person. Like, the way he treated other people, everyone loved him because he loves people. He just cares about people. And it was the best. Like, he would take me on so many trips. Like, this life that I always manifested. I was like, I want to travel. I want to be with someone who's like so loving and sensitive the way that I am, that like, I can be sensitive and that's okay. I'm not being told it's a problem that my feelings get hurt. I'm not being told that my emotional or empathy is this bad thing.
Stop crying.
Right. Like, being told anything like that or to change who you are, it's like, why are we together then? Because I'm not for you. And I felt like all of a sudden I had this person who just accepted me over and over. Everything he knew about me, he accepted it and he loved it. And okay, I have to tell you, this was third date. It wasn't really a date, but we had gone on 2 dates. I get these flowers shipped to Boda, and it just said, the most beautiful bouquet I've ever seen, by the way. it had a little card and it said, Happy Valentine's Day, beautiful. And at the time, I didn't know who they were from because there was many situations. My mom and some of my sisters used to send me really cute things on Valentine's Day when I was single. They felt bad for me.
Being a single girl for a few years, it's not completely out of the norm.
Right. You just never know.
Yeah.
I had some crazy exes that it could have been from. And I had Brandon, who I was hoping it was from, but was no way gonna ask him. So I get these flowers. I'm like, oh, I wish these were for Brandon. And immediately my poor negative self-talk was like, yeah, right. That guy you've dated in 2 days. There's no way he sent these to you. Crap. It's probably either your mom or your ex. And one of the two. That sucks. But I was like, it was my mom. So I was like, that's fine. I'm just going to be like, thanks, Mom. Did you send me flowers? Well, I don't want to ask anyone if they sent me flowers and make them feel bad. Because, if someone didn't send you flowers and you're like, did you send me flowers? I did not, but I'm so glad someone sent you flowers. Like, what do you do? Yeah. So I'm like, I'm just going to shut my mouth. You didn't sign your name. That's on you. And so I go throughout the day, and then I was with one of my friends at the time doing a Galentine's, and we were downtown shopping at Uptown Cheapskate, having fun, girls' night.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, that was a power move. We're going to shop on Valentine's Day night. So he happened to live downtown, and he sends me a text, and he says, hey, did you happen to get a surprise today? And I was like, yes, it was him. And so I'm like, we have to go get him a card and cookies. We're dropping it off at his door right now.
I wasn't gonna, but now that I know.
Now we're in, yep. And so we ran to Smith's, got a card, this hilarious, like the last one left on the shelf, like this power action figure type card, like superhero, whatever. And some cookies, because everyone loves cookies except for him, I found out. So...
What?
So,
all cookies or?
Just sweets. He's just not a sweets guy, which is good for me because then I'm a very sweets girl, and it's like I need to calm down. So
keeps him at bay.
It does.
Okay, well, I'll forgive him for that
sometimes,
later.
Yeah. So anyway, we park across the street from his house because he has huge windows in the front of his house. I'm like, I just want to watch this go down. I'm going to stalk. I'm going to go back to junior high and stalk this boy's house. Yeah. And so we're watching, and you see him walk down the stairs to get it. Because I text him 10 minutes after. He said, did you get a surprise? I said, did you? Check your door. That was my response to him.
Because you guys were already out shopping.
Yes.
Oh, my God.
We were 5 minutes from his house when he said that. So.
Oh, you acted fast.
Yes. But thinking on... So hearing his perspective, though, at the time, he was like, I honestly was like, she has been stalking me. This is kind of crazy that she was there, like, at the time. But anyway, funny to hear his side. So from my side, we're watching him across the street just laughing hysterically because we see him walk up, unfold his card. He's giggling and smiling. I'm like, oh, so cute. And we're dying. We're laughing so hard for, like, we felt really creepy,
I mean, adults don't usually do that stuff. Teenagers
stalking,
do.
Exactly. But for my personality, I'm about 13 on average. So it was me,
13-year-old that could go to jail.
That's right. That's right. I can get arrested, but that's okay.
You didn't.
I'm
okay.
still here to tell the story. So I'm laughing so hard, I'm pushing on my brake pedal, and the light is flashing. And so I'm thinking I'm being all sneaky and fluke, and he sees this, like, red light flashing across the street. Yeah, I'm dumb. I was like, ha, 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 ha. Like, when I laugh, I'm like, that's all right. Limbs are out. Yes.
We weren't in park.
No. Well, I mean, no, I was parked, but your parking brake, when you hit the park, you know what I'm saying? You hit the brake, and
but even though the brakes were lighting
it's still lit
up.
So he, like, runs out to the balcony, and he's like, is that you? Are you across the street? Text me, and I'm like, get down!
You and your friend, absolutely not us.
I lay totally flat, and I'm, like, crying. I'm laughing so hard. And so he calls me. He's like, what are you doing? I can see your car. And so we're laughing so hard, and I was just dying. So he's like, just come in. And I was like, I'm mortified. Oh, my gosh.
This is a third date or something like that.
Yeah, it was after the second date, if we can call it a date. So yeah.
Am I overstepping?
Oh my gosh. I was like, we were stalking you, I'll be honest. He's like, well, yeah, you were out there. And so, oh my gosh. I mean, that is who I am, though. And he quickly learned, like, okay, she's kind of a wild girl.
You put the bar here, the bar will become here. He'll go here, you go here. Same. You guys just match each other's energy.
Oh, and that's exactly how it is. And he treated my friend so good, too, that I felt ignored because he was so interested in getting to know her.
That's
it was
like
good.
The go-to of a good man.
Yep.
I feel like
how do you treat my friends and family?
He'll like not gonna forget about you, but
yeah,
it kind of goes into tunnel vision of like, well, this is just by proxy her.
Yes.
If she cares about this person a lot, then I do.
And it was smart because I was like, done. It's done. Who treats my best friends like that when he's just meeting them? My exes were horrible to my friends, and so
that's so junior high school stuff.
So I was like, okay, that's huge to me. And then after that, like the dates just got more creative, more fun. It was like, let's go to the park and do this. Let's have a water balloon fight. Like his
in a
ideas,
non-exhaustive way, though.
Oh, not like, at all.
Very natural and.
And he was traveling a lot, which was probably good because it kept everything spaced out where we could like keep this distance while he was healing. Literally, it was.
Isn't that nice? Yeah. When you're like in a place where you're forced to take it slow.
And you were okay with it.
Yes.
Like, wow. Yeah. And I decided to say, you know what? Okay, at one point I started to feel very like, when are we going to figure this out? Are we dating or are we not? It was like 6 months in, and I was not sure if he was dating other people or not. Like, we didn't define anything. It was very much like, he's a very good person, and like, I love him, but I'm not going to tell him. I'm just here.
You're enjoying your time.
Yeah. Seriously, I was like, even if it took a million years, I would wait for him because I was so happy even just being his friend at the time.
Totally.
So I was like, I will wait and wait and wait. But I did end up saying, listen, I think you need to date other girls because I'm not sure you're healed enough to be in a relationship. And it was bad. Like, I've never seen that man cry, and he might be sad that I'm saying it now, but he was like sobbing, and I was like, my heart was broken. He said, no, listen, like, I feel like I know it's you. I just need to get in this. Yeah, I need to get in this space where like I can move forward. Please give me time. I don't want to date anyone else. And bawling. And I was like, I will wait for you forever. It could be 100 years. We're like sobbing. It was the sweetest moment. So I think it was only a few months after that before he literally asked me to be his girlfriend. No one does that anymore, but he had them write it on a plate and said, will you be my girlfriend? So I'm just like, I'm so in love with this man, and it's just gotten better and better and better. And the traveling now,
where have you guys gone?
Oh, it's been so good. And we're going to Europe in 2 weeks for a month. Yes. So, and I'm like, I need to talk to you. I want to go to Spain someday, and you know all about it. But
yeah. Well, just Barcelona.
Yes.
But yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, honestly, traveling is a huge part of my soul. I just feel like I'm meant to do it. I want to see the world. I want to get to see these other cultures.
Well, you're such an open-minded person that getting to go immerse yourself in other cultures, you just like dive in. Mm-hmm. And that's the best part about traveling is if you're going to be that way, then you'll get a lot from the places you're going to.
Yes. And I feel like it changes me. Every time I come back, I learned more, and I'm different, and I'm better, and I'm like happier. Honestly, if you're ever feeling depressed, there's nothing that can fix it like getting out of your life and your little narrow story of what's being built and like change it and see other people's lives too. It's really awesome.
I'm so glad you found him.
Mm-hmm. Brandon. I know, and Finley, but Brandon.
Brandon, honestly.
Yeah. He's so on my same page with everything, and he knows how much I love animals that he brings it to me. Like, we went to another animal rescue.
It when you're like, we're doing this. Mm-hmm. This is what we want to do.
Yes, and he gets so much joy out of seeing me with animals. So now he's bringing these situations into my life. Like, we just went to San Diego, and it was a rescue as well, and I got to literally just like hug and cuddle a kangaroo, and I never thought that would happen, but he was so sweet and like wanted to be cuddled and would like scratch me. It was hilarious and cute. And then we just went to a farm with his family where I was kissing alpacas, and I swear to you, it's just like, if I could have a farm with every animal in the world just with me, I would. Yeah. But maybe someday. That's the next goal.
There you go.
Yeah.
Short girl style.
I don't even know if I'm going to go with that, but here's the thing.
It's an idea.
Yes. So I watched your podcast. It was on YouTube.
I love that. I'm hopeful that more people will watch instead of listen. But
yeah, I'm like, it's fun to just like see even the way you're saying something. I prefer it. So I watched it, and I was like, okay, here's the thing that I see with Chel. She has a difference, and many people do.
Yes.
It's not just about a limb difference. There are other things that people may feel insecure about or may have some feeling that they're not good enough or not the same as everyone, right?
And insecurity.
So, insecurity. Sure. So for me, growing up, it was being short. Among many other things, I feel like that's the easy thing that people thought they could poke fun of because I was okay with it, right? It was always...
And typically I think people don't see that as being like a rude poke fun of.
Right.
But
like,
if
shorty,
that's
whatever
that you're uncomfortable with, then it comes off as rude.
Exactly. Especially when you just feel like you're not good enough. Like the taller girls, they're prettier, they're more thin than me, and that's what everyone wants. And you believe that. And it's just stupid because I'm totally good with it now. I actually love being short now. But growing up, it was like I wore high heels every day in high school. What? You're walking through classes? How strange. Like I couldn't wear the sneakers I wanted to wear. I didn't even buy them because I was like, that'll make me like 3 inches shorter. And that's not okay to be shorter. So I just felt like also I didn't really understand fashion in the sense of how I could wear it because I was a little bit more curvy and a little bit shorter than everyone that I was seeing or studying because I loved fashion. I mean, I started sewing when I was really little and I went right into fashion design for college because I just knew that's what I loved. So I was always into fashion, but it was like I didn't feel necessarily represented, but I figured out what worked for me.
Yeah.
And I don't...
Because literally us growing up, I don't think the kids younger than us or adults now younger than us understand that we didn't have all this representation.
That's true.
It was literally Victoria's Secret models.
Mm-hmm.
And if you didn't fit that, then you weren't in ad campaigns.
Yes.
You weren't being sold to.
Right.
You were just being told, lose some weight and then you can fit into our clothes. But if you don't have any other... I don't even know.
Yeah, and I'm looking at it as like our role models were like pop stars and celebrities and Vogue and Elle magazine. Like that's kind of what we
Thigh
had.
gaps and long ass legs and long torsos.
Yep.
And that's what the clothes were made to fit.
That's right. And even being in the fashion industry now, I don't love that because I have to make my dresses standard for a taller girl. That's just like the industry. But I want to change it and I offer petite now, which is great. But I'm like, that's just, I feel like it's still underrepresented. And every time I watch styling videos, like I'm really getting into TikTok right now with styling and stuff, but I'm like, I feel like they're all size 0 and like 5'10", or maybe they're not, but they look that way. And I feel like they wear things that I just can't get away with.
Well, and we have a lot of limb different or disabled people that are offering representation. We have plus size people who are offering representation. We don't necessarily have short representation.
Right. And so I was talking to Brandon about this, and luckily he makes me feel so confident. I swear I could wear anything. I could gain 1,000 pounds. I could become shorter. I could do anything. And he would always be like, you're perfect. I love you the way you are. And he always is like,
because he loves this.
Yeah.
And he loves this.
Yes. And it's very noticeable and clear. So I just feel good about myself all the time now. And not that, I mean, I've been confident and fine with my height for years and years now. So that wasn't a thing. But like just hearing him say, I love how short you are. I'm like, I love that you love that. Like, it's great. So I was talking to him, though. I'm like, I do feel, though, like I'm not represented in the fashion industry. I feel like I still have to be so skinny because of how short I am to look good in anything. It's either I'm a size 00 to look like these models or I'm not represented, which is fine. I don't care that I'm not represented. But what I saw out of that was there's an opportunity here because maybe there are girls who do care that they're not represented. And
and it's something, getting dressed is something that you run into every single day.
Exactly.
So then if that's something that you, don't know how to do, to dress for your body, instead of dress how everyone else is dressing, which is what I think most people do.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You can definitely tell when you're out, like, people watching. Oh,
they do know
whatever.
How.
People
wear whatever
they
you want.
But you can tell the difference between the people who are dressing for themselves versus the people who are dressing, because everyone else is dressing like this.
Agreed. That's exactly right. And I view fashion as the extension of yourself. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I literally get to wear how I feel. And that's so fun.
Self-expression.
Yes.
Which, like, look at us today. We both did some sort of self-expression that would make us feel good.
Exactly. And I'm like, do I want to wear these big puff sleeves? They'll be out next year. I don't care.
They're
I like
cute.
them today.
Yeah.
So I'm going to wear it, which is fun to be like, I don't care what's going to be in or out of style anymore. I'm just like, do I like it? Yeah, I do. Is it a trend? Yeah,
well,
but do I like it?
Everything's a fad now.
Exactly.
It's not even trends anymore. Things are going so fast that they're fads.
It changes
and so if
so
you're
fast.
Like making your whole wardrobe, I love capsule wardrobes, and then you throw stuff in. Yep. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, I'm all for a statement piece. Totally. Do not get me wrong.
Yes.
But if you're not dressing for yourself, you're doing yourself a disservice.
Agreed. And for me, I'm like, what even do I like? I don't want the fashion industry to tell me. I don't want anyone else to tell me what do I like. And then I want to share that with other people. So thanks for bringing up short girl style because of you. Because of you.
Because. No.
Showing that you can represent in some way other people and knowing that that's going to help them. Like you said, if it helps one person, that's amazing because I know that there are going to be people out there who are like, wait, I feel the same. Even if it's 10, I don't care if I reach 10 people, but I'm like, this is what I like and here's my take on fashion and how I do it being shorter. And also not caring that I'm shorter. I don't have to be taller to wear this.
We're not trying to change it. We're trying to make ourselves feel better about the current situation.
Right. And to be a part of it and to feel like I get to be a part of this fashion industry. It's not just the size 0 model. It can be anyone. And I want everyone to feel represented that way too. Like for sure, plus size, every ethnicity and any height. You know, like let's add another thing in to make people feel more included. Like why not? And so I told Brandon how I feel like, you know what, there could be something here. And he was so dang supportive as he always is. But he was like, you are onto something here. And I go, but I'm so scared of the judgment. I'm so scared of what rude things people will say. What if they don't like my style? What if it's embarrassing? What if I don't know how to make videos and what if no one cares? And he's like, and do you want to do it?
Are you enjoying it? Yeah. That's like, I've been told so many times, you know, like it's not really about the numbers.
Yes.
And you can track all that because that helps with business.
Right.
But how does it make me feel? How does it making other people feel? Because I could have 1 million followers or listeners, and if it's not doing anything good, I don't want it.
Exactly. Because if you get that one kid that you changed their life, wasn't it worth it? Not that fashion's going to change anyone's life, but still. Right. I'm like, there is still room for my passions.
That's the thing. Fashion can change people's lives in a way. If you have something that is so restricting for you. So like mine, I always have to roll up my sleeves for my hand. You know what I mean? Oh. The day I got a custom shirt and jacket from the suit shop, my life changed.
And the glove, I remember.
Making gloves to fit my hand. Like when you feel like
you
things
sewed that.
Are made for you and when it fits you, whether it takes a little tailoring or what, it makes you feel better and more confident. Yes. And I remember the day I fit a 7-foot tall man in a suit.
Wow.
And he came in for his fitting with his fiance and it was all great. It was for his wedding. My coworker, who is like 6'2" or something, he had to do the shoulders because I couldn't get up high enough.
Wow. Even on a step stool.
Yeah. And I was really nervous, and we had this thing called the perfect fit, and we wanted people to come back and need very few alterations. His suit came back perfect.
I love that.
I was far enough in like working. I was confident in all of my measurements. Plus I had someone double check it all.
Wow.
George did great with like helping me finalize it. That man walked out in tears. His fiance cried. Can you imagine being 7 feet tall?
No.
And trying to find clothes that fit you?
That's way worse than even short.
But it's the same concept.
Yeah. I can't even imagine that situation.
And
there's nothing.
There's less people that feel the way he does. There's more people that feel the way you do.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So, like, saying that it's not going to help anyone.
Right.
There's so many short people out there that are having the same pain points you are.
Yeah, and just getting inspiration, if nothing else. Like, wow, I can see something that would work for me now. So
also, it's the education. You can't know, like, right now what's going across my TikTok is, like, these color wheels. So people will put like these fabrics with the colors on their like under their head so that you can see how your complexion, your eyes, your whole demeanor kind of changes based on the colors you're wearing.
Wow.
So you should know which colors do what for you.
I love that.
But it's the same thing. Now it's like, okay, if you have more torso than leg, this is how you can typically get away with pants and shirts. Or these are the things to steer towards. That's
I love
you.
that.
That's what you're doing.
Thank you. And that's exactly what I want to do too. Especially I'm very short torsoed. So there are just things that will not work for me. And like, that's fine. I could still wear it and still be confident in it. But I'm like, I feel like there's also just a guidance that some people who are not constantly around fashion. Exactly. But they want.
And that's the majority of people, I've realized.
Okay. Well, that's good to know because I really
people
don't know.
People who like immersed in it or like went to school, whatever. We don't get it because it's so second nature.
Yeah.
Most of my friends, even if they're good at what they do, they lack some sort of confidence in it. Mm-hmm. I feel like my degree and where I went to school gives me a lot of confidence that I wouldn't have
as
elsewise.
It should. I still want to go there.
But same for you. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
getting any sort of fashion or like art degree just gives you kind of like that thing in your
you're right
resume or your pocket that's like, I actually have this and I feel good about that area.
And I love that you can say that because here's something that I think when people say like, we want the professional to come and talk about this, will you come speak? I'm like, no, I am not that person. But I'm like, wait a minute.
You are.
I'm like, I do have a lot of experience. I've been in the industry for 11 years. I was going to say 21 years.
How old am I?
I mean, like in the industry working. Yeah, but I've always loved it. So I've loved it 20 plus years. Yeah. But I'm like, there are people who are just now getting into it or whatever. But being able to say, wow, maybe I do have some value is good for anything in life, but especially something like this where you're like, I'm going to put myself out there. I may not be the expert.
I was going to say, you're not saying that you're the one-stop shop or one person that knows all.
Right.
You have a lot of good insights and you live this every day.
So true.
That was my thing. I was so freaking tired of going to people who had 10 fingers and them telling me what to do.
Wow, yeah.
I'm like, you don't get it. You don't live this every day.
Exactly.
But now that I'm like having conversations with people who are missing digits or even full hands or limbs, like they get it.
Yep.
In a way that
no one else ever will.
And I even being technically short, right? So you said anyone under 5'8"?
That's in my opinion in fashion because I'm like, everything's made for 5'9" to 6 foot. There's obviously things that will work for everyone, but in my opinion, I would call under 5'8" short for the fashion industry because to be a model, you usually have to be 5'8". So to me, I was like, anyone under 5'8", I think could really benefit from some of the things I want to talk about. But hopefully everyone. I never want anyone to be cut out. I'm like, take my cute, like, short girl outfit and make it your own thing. I would love that.
Also, the amount of times I've been talking about limb differences and people can apply those principles to other things.
That's what I did.
Like, left and right. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be on that one topic. That's why I was like, well, I mean, if I do most of my episodes on my limb difference, like, are people going to drop off? Do they not want to listen? But it's like, I have so much more to talk about than just that. But the principles apply across my life.
Yeah, and it was such a connection. Just hearing you talk about it, I'm like, oh, I can relate and not in that way, but in this way. And that's all. Like, that's really what I feel like podcasts are for. I feel like when I listen to anyone's podcast, you hear even one thing that sticks with you. Well, it was worth it.
Your brain goes off on your own tangent.
Totally.
You process that. I love it.
Yeah, so that's what you're doing. And so never feel like you can't or shouldn't talk about it, even if it's focused on it or whatever. That is what made you you, and I think it is very valid. Always do it. It's very inspiring.
Well, I'm glad that it's like making you want to do something too. Like
you're putting yourself out there, and how hard is that?
Well, it's hard until you realize that like there's no competition.
Yeah.
There's no competition here. It's
you against you.
Yeah, we all do this, and if we lift each other up, there's really no competition.
Yeah. Like, you're so right.
I was super nervous about like not paying people to come on here, and then I was like, but I have something to offer, and then I'm promoting what, like, I'm at least asking them if they want to promote something or whatever.
Yeah.
And so there's a give and a take, and I think with corporate America, people are really missing that. Like you said,
Yeah.
you're like, you felt silly for not paying models or something right away. And it's like, we all got to start somewhere.
That's exactly right.
And if you end up
And you're helping
completely
them
doing a
too.
180, who
Yeah,
cares?
exactly. You can change any day, anytime. But yeah, it's like, just start, right? I feel like that's what this all comes back to, is like, just start, or be you, and whatever that
gut.
means. Exactly. Yeah. And I don't know. You've inspired me. I'm like, it's another project, which hopefully I don't do the 2 passions again, but like, I think it's an extension. It can be the same. It can be one and the same, right?
Also, if you're doing it with like your boutique items too, that's business.
Yeah, and that's the goal, because I feel like a lot of people don't know that our bridal store has a boutique, because it is very secondary. I'm like, obviously I want to focus on our brides and the wedding gowns, but I'm so passionate about fashion anyway that I like to do that. So I am trying to do more with that as well. And I would love to design my own like ready to wear someday, just to be able to sell. So we'll see where it all goes, but I do think it's connected enough where hopefully.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah. Well, thank you, because now I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I didn't even want to call it Short Girl Style. It's not going to be a podcast or anything. Straight up, like, just a TikTok account with inspiration and advice and, like, just fun. You know what I mean?
That's where it starts. And then you go to L, or then you go to Allure, and then you go to whoever. And you're like, writing these columns for style segments or something. You know what I mean?
Here I come. I know. I'm like, you never know. And then, yeah, for you, I'm like, you started where you were going to, you've told me so many years now that you wanted to do the podcast, you wanted to be a speaker. And I love, like, when I first got here, how you talked about that. And you're doing it. This is your way to, like, talk to people and learn what to talk about. You're going to be amazing. When's your first session to start, like, speaking with people?
I'm corresponding with a few principals right now.
Awesome.
And then I'm going to go in and start speaking to students in schools. And I have a few appointments with brands to do like consultancy.
Awesome.
Who the Chel Cares is like my creative, non-filtered outlet. And this is just, literally, this is like the most raw Chelsea you're going to get. And it's still not like who you're going to get off camera.
Exactly.
Just because there's some things not everyone needs to know.
You just keep things close sometimes.
But likeness is my professional side. Yeah. Because I really do love having like a professional, get shit done businesswoman side of myself. You know what I mean? Like being trained in Los Angeles, it was really cutthroat, and so I was like, I flopped when I got here, but I want to emulate that part of what I really thrived in. Wow. Which was that structure, that business professional. Wow. And that's all going to be the public speaking and consultancy. So
I love that. Yeah, we're going to connect our businesses on that, because it's honestly, I'm so excited about what you're doing, and I would love to in some way help spread the word in general, because it's going to help everyone. Again, this is not just going to help different people. You will be a representation for anyone with any insecurity or difference at all.
Well, and my biggest thing is I want anyone with any physical difference to feel like they've been represented. Yeah. And because you can't really show through photography like any like mental sort of, maybe I'm limiting myself in that belief. But as for right now, I don't really see a lot of ways to do it. Yeah. So focusing on those like physical differences that set us apart from the very, very small margin that was set up for society that doesn't fit most people. Agreed. If it does, that's awesome, and that makes your life way easier. Right. It's just not for everyone.
Yeah, you're right. And that's why people will relate. And I think it's the best. The people who want to lift each other up will all support the movement. Like, I'm so excited, and I would love to be a part of that too. So
good, I'm so glad.
You're amazing. I'm so proud of you, happy for you, all of it.
Well, honestly, I couldn't have done it without someone like you to follow in the footsteps of.
That means the world, and I'm gonna keep doing it, but now your footsteps are just gonna
and now we can do it together.
We'll be side by side footsteps. I love it.
I remember one time you're like, when I have a job, I'm gonna hire you to do so whatever, and I was like, good, get me out of here. Granted, bridal's not my strong suit, so I wouldn't be a good fit. But it was that, like, you bring your friends along with you. When I'm here, you'll be there with me. Exactly. And wanting to just lift each other up together.
I love that. Oh, you're amazing.
You're amazing.
Thank you for asking me on.
Yes, I love you.
I love you so much. You were the best. I'm like, and a wrap? I'm like, yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know how long we talked, but I'm like, you're going to have way too much to go through, but it was great.
Thank you so much for watching or listening to this episode of Who the Chel Cares. I'm your host, Chelsea. And if you did like it, please like, rate, subscribe, comment, share. It all helps me.